Well, this isn't working out. I'm gonna need the suit back.
But no, please, how long?
Forever.
Please, I'm nothing without this suit.
If you're nothing without this suit, then you shouldn't have it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello. Welcome back to the Real Screen Team. I'm Adrian Thomas. I'm here with fellow Spider-Man, Christopher Johnson.
Hello, everyone.
And we're finished up Year of the Spider with the Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Finally, we reach quite possibly one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, no offense to the Tobey Maguire films or the Andrew Garfield films. There's definitely a lot to enjoy there. But to finally talk about something much more current.
Yep. You want to get into the history of Sony and Marvel? Or the overview?
Well, yes, and I'll go into that whole spiel as I talk about the overview.
Mm-hmm.
Just let me look through my notes a little bit. Okay. Spiderman Homecoming is a 2017 superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character Spider-Man, co-produced by Columbia Pictures and Marvel Studios and distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing. Now, the reason why this whole co-production thing occurred was after The Amazing Spider-Man 2 failed to deliver. Disney, Marvel Studios, and Sony made a deal to share the Spider-Man film rights, leading into the integration of Spider-Man joining the MCU. And it would also kind of help Sony in finding what direction they wanted to take Spider-Man, because they had already done, one thing with Tobey Maguire. They did another thing with Andrew Garfield. They wanted to find something new and unique to do with Spider-Man this time around. So they decided to go ahead and make a co-production with Marvel Studios. But this deal still has Sony continuing to own the film rights, finance the films, and distribute them. And have final creative control over the Spider-Man films. With Marvel Studios and Disney Motion Pictures essentially making the film. So this is kind of how this union happened.
Go into the overview.
Well,
Yeah.
It is Spider-Man Homecoming is the second Spider-Man film reboot and the 16th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The film was directed by John Watts from a screenplay by the writing teams of Jonathan Goldstein and John Francis Daly, John Watts himself and Christopher Ford, and Chris McKenna and Eric Summers. What a writing team. The film stars Tom Holland as Peter Parker / Spider-Man, alongside Michael Keaton, Jon Favreau, Gwyneth Paltrow, Zendaya, Donald Glover, Jacob Batalon, Laura Harrier, Tony Revolori, Bokeem Woodbine, Marissa Tomei, and Robert Downey Jr.
When I get into the synopsis,
Well, sure. 2 months after the events of Civil War, Peter Parker anxiously awaits his next assignment from Tony Stark while simultaneously balancing his life at Midtown High School with his vigilante life as Spider-Man. Peter's investigation of a series of highly weaponized robberies lead him to mysterious weapons trafficker Adrian Toombs, also known as the Vulture.
I thought Tom Holland did great for his first outing as Spider-Man.
Oh, absolutely.
Well-
Even though technically this isn't his first
No,
outing as
Well,
Spider-Man.
his first solo outing as
True.
Spider. Second, if we recommend you watch Captain America: Civil War, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Even though you will, if you do see the movie of Homecoming, you do see sort of his point of view of Civil
Yeah,
War.
you get kind of a rough rundown of how all this happened.
Yep. And Tom Holland did pretty well. He was mainly wanting to be a Avenger so bad that he,
Yeah.
while liking playing over one girl he likes and hanging out with his best friend Ned.
Yeah. And plus, I enjoy kind of the interpretation that he was doing. He's much younger than the other Spider-Man that we've seen. He's much younger. You know, he's 15, while with Tobey, you know, he was 18 going on to 21 in the first Spider-Man film. And with Andrew Garfield, he was like, what, 17?
Something like that.
He 16 going on 17?
Yeah.
So this is much more grounded in actively seeing Peter in high school. You know, seeing him deal with the daily things that a high school kid would deal with. While at the same time, rather than going the adorably campy and melodramatic ways that the Tobey Maguire films went, you know, trying to feel more like the Silver Age comics. And then we have Andrew Garfield's films feeling a lot more darker and kind of grounded. Tom Holland's films are much more humorous and much more human. They feel a lot more honest and heartfelt, kind of like a John Hughes movie. And I really enjoy that because you can definitely feel like this really feels like if John Hughes had made a superhero film.
Yeah.
And I commend John Watts for doing that and making sure Tom Holland found that, you know, with his interpretation.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoy Peter in this. You don't really feel like he's playing two different characters.
No.
You really feel like Peter Parker and Spider-Man are one and the same.
Yep.
And I really enjoy that.
Yep. Although he's good at giving away his secret identity by accident.
Oof.
Like 3 times in this movie.
Well,
Because
yeah.
Ned,
yeah.
Vulture, and then at the end, Aunt May.
Well, yeah. I mean, with Ned and Aunt May, those were accidents. With Adrian Toombs, that's just him being smart and putting 2 and 2 together.
Yep. And then,
Well, remember, he's Batman, the world's greatest detective.
of course, he's also pining after Liz, his love interest.
Yeah.
But he mainly wants to be an Avenger through most of this movie.
Yeah, he's going through this weird thing where he wants to be more of Spider-Man rather than Peter Parker. You know, he doesn't see Peter Parker as something important or good. He feels as though being Peter is being a loser. But through this film, he has to learn that he is good enough as Peter, as Peter Parker. He's good enough. He's a hero, whether he's Peter Parker or whether he's wearing the suit.
Yeah, I do like his multiple suits.
Yes, which I enjoy the kind of what he tried to do with the homemade suit, but in my opinion, I think the first upgraded suit is just all the chef kisses.
Yeah.
Especially with the whole, emoting eyes, which definitely gives Tom a much easier way of expressing himself compared to what Tobey and Andrew had.
Yeah, but the only thing he has in common with Andrew is being the second British Spider-Man.
True.
Yeah.
And I gotta give Tom Holland a great deal of credit for actively giving Peter a New York accent. For some reason, that is something that no one else has figured out or thought of doing.
Yep. Yeah,
But, I mean, like we were saying, Tom Holland was fantastic.
Yeah.
The man did a great deal of his own stunts because he's very athletic, with acrobatics, dancing.
And he tries to contact Happy about all the stuff going on, and Happy just ignores him.
Yeah.
We'll get more into Happy later in this review.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, while also trying to please Tony Stark.
Yeah, because he looks up to Tony.
Yep, he's sort of like a father too.
Yeah. And instead of having Spider-Man dealing with, tragedy, like how the other interpretations were, it's so much the thing that's motivating Peter in this interpretation is he's defined by his admiration for his idols. He admires Tony so much because Tony gave him this opportunity. And he really wants to prove himself that, he can stand head and shoulders next to the Earth's mightiest heroes.
Yep, even though they're disbanded by then.
Yeah, because Captain America's a war criminal at this point. Winter Soldier is still being accused of terrorist attacks, etc., etc.
There's only like Iron Man, Vision, and War Machine. And now possibly Spider-Man, give or take.
Yeah.
So not many Avengers left on that. And Hulk and Thor are in a different planet.
Well,
Hulk is. Thor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, with talking about the hero, why don't we go into the villain? Michael Keaton as Adrian Toombs, a.k.a. the Vulture.
Yeah. This won't be our last review with Michael Keaton this year.
No, it won't, because... Okay, everybody did fantastic in this film, but I gotta give the MVP to Michael Keaton on this one. He brought his A game for this film.
Yep, and he's a sympathetic villain.
Yeah, because really, Adrian Toombs is just a regular blue-collar working guy. He has his own company with, salvaging and kind of repairing damage, during major hero events. But unfortunately, his big break, where he's probably going to make a great deal of money, the freaking damage control working with Tony Stark takes all of that away from him. After he practically spent all of the money that he has to get ready for this big endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for him. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, this man has a family.
Yeah.
He's trying to do right by his workers. And through some sort of happenstance, indirectly, Tony Stark ends up screwing him over.
Yeah. Good old Tony.
And it's not so much Tony's fault, even though it kind of is. It's kind of the center of damage control.
Yeah.
So, Adrian thinking, well, I still have some of this alien tech. You know, the Chitauri alien tech.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a guy who knows how to create things with this. Why not go ahead, make a freaking flying super suit, and go and steal back some of the things that I didn't get a chance to gather from that huge event and potentially sell it off to someone else who could use it.
Mm-hmm.
On top of continuing to use all this tech for myself.
Yeah.
So essentially, you know, he's not doing this for any like evil, nefarious reason. He's doing this because he wants to make money for his family.
Yeah, but he's willing to kill to protect his family.
Yeah, he's willing to beg, steal, barter, kill.
Yeah, he killed the first Shocker. And that was only by accident.
Yeah, he thought that was the anti-gravity gun. No, that was the disintegration ray.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel bad for Jackson
Yeah.
Bryce.
My favorite scene with Michael Keaton's the car scene with Peter.
Oh my god.
Especially after Peter Zate leaves, that talk.
Yeah, because, you know, as they're going through the drive, he's really putting two and two together, and you kind of see it in his face, you see it in his eyes, like, oh, so you're the little thorn in my side. You're the one that has been making my deals much more difficult. Okay, take the gun out the glove. Okay. You have two options here, Peter. Go on this date with my daughter. Be respectful. Be a nice kid. No problems. If you try to get into my plans, I'm gonna kill you, and I'm gonna kill everybody important to you. The choice is yours, big fella. The choice is yours.
Yep. He doesn't give him props for saving his daughter.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the fact that really he doesn't hate Peter.
Yep.
He doesn't, you know, he sees Peter as a nice stand-up kid, but Peter is messing with his bottom line, and that bottom line is making a living for his family.
Yep.
I mean, Michael Keaton was fantastic. So many layers that he brought to Adrian Toombs.
Yep.
I mean, all of the Spider-Man villains that we have seen and continue to see all have like have a sympathetic thing going on with them.
Yeah, but except for a few.
Well, or they were wronged in some means.
Yeah.
Really, I feel like Vulture is the most human of all of them.
Yep.
You know, because...
Even when in prison, he doesn't give Peter's identity away in the post-credit scene.
No, because, you know, despite the fact that, he's in prison, he kind of accepts it because he was doing bad.
Yeah.
And he understands where Peter is coming from.
Yeah, especially since he saved his life.
Yeah. Yeah, Peter didn't have to save Adrian, but he made sure to do it because it was the right thing to do.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the other characters.
Well, sure. Well, we hinted to him a bit earlier, John Favreau as Harold Happy Hogan.
I didn't like this version of Happy.
I don't understand why Happy was being such a jerk in this one.
Yep. Both Peter and Ned were trying to tell. You just wouldn't listen.
No, because he thought that Peter was nothing more than this, silly teenage kid that, why in God's name is Tony investing so much into you?
Mm-hmm.
But, Happy, thanks to Peter, you didn't end up facing major repercussions.
Mm-hmm.
Because you should have listened.
Yep. Let's get to the other.
Well, why don't we talk about Peter's best friend, Ned Leeds, played by Jacob Batalon.
Yep. He was really good.
Yeah. Much different type of friend than we've seen, as far as...
Not the rich boy type like the other Peter.
He's kind of on the same level with Peter.
Yeah.
He's just a nice, nerdy kid that,
like to play Legos.
Yeah, build a Lego Death Star with,
Accidentally finds out Peter's identity.
Yeah.
Becomes the guy in the chair.
Because apparently everybody needs a freaking person making sure that technical support is on the up and up.
Yep. Helping him out with activating the suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely helps that Ned is much more is invested in this, and he's just as smart as Peter.
Although he almost gave away Peter's identity, asking him too many questions.
Yeah.
In front of classmates.
Yeah. And then telling people that Peter knows Spider-Man because of the Stark Institute scholarship program.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy Ned.
Yeah, he comes out to help fight out Shocker.
Yeah.
Shocker number 2.
And he actively does help as the guy in the chair later on when Peter doesn't have the upgraded suit.
Yeah.
When he has to go back to his homemade suit.
Yeah.
And it really does help.
Yep.
So, yeah, I really like Ned.
Yep.
Well, why don't we talk about the other most important person in Peter's life? Marissa Tomei as May Parker.
Hot Aunt May.
Ah, yes, Hot May. The best of all Aunt Mays.
Yep.
What? Don't look at me like that. Yeah, I've had a thing for Marissa Tomei since she was in A Different World. Mm-hmm. And My Cousin Vinny.
Yep. She was pretty good for the small parts that she had. She didn't have much to do in this one.
Yeah, which is a drawback.
Most of the jokes were mainly everyone hitting on her. It's starting with Tony working their way up.
Well, yeah, because what are we supposed to not acknowledge the fact that, my God, this woman is stunning? No. And plus the fact that she really wants to do her best to be a parent and guardian for Peter.
Yep.
There are a number of times where she really tries to get Peter to, confide in her, because she can tell that things are going on with him and it's difficult.
Yep. Of course, she finds out also by accident at the end.
And she freaks out a little.
Yeah, a little. She nearly...
She WTF'd literally.
Yep. And that was her second appearance since she appeared in Captain America Civil War.
Yeah. And I think in a weird way it was kind of alluded to that she knew. She knew, but it wasn't until she saw him in the suit that it was like, I was right. Okay. Which is an additional thing that I really enjoy about this film is everyone actively knows Peter has a secret that he's trying to hide. And people aren't just, being like, no, Peter, what's going on with you?
Mm-hmm.
You keep flaking on other things that are important. You finally gain opportunities of things that you really wanted, but then you decide to leave and not come back. What's up with that?
Mm-hmm.
What's up with that?
And speaking of which, we should also talk about his love interests also.
Well, yes. Where did I put everything? Oh, yes. Laura Harrier as Liz.
Yep.
She's nice, attractive, popular girl.
Yep.
That is also as smart as she is beautiful.
Yep. And the plot twist, she's Adrian Toombs' daughter.
Yes. You have no idea how much of a this completely blew my mind moment it was. I mean, I know this is a bit of a dramatic interpretation, but I'm going to use this clip to show exactly how it was. Yeah, that's exactly how it was. I mean, how did you feel about it? Was it a kind of blow my mind, oh my god, my head just exploded moment for you too?
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
But I do like Liz. It's just unfortunate we don't know really too much about her.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell she definitely notices Peter. She sees Peter as, a really nice kid. She has an interest in him.
Yep.
But she also knows that Peter's dealing with something.
Yep.
So I guess it's kind of a thing that's keeping her back from really wanting to pursue anything with Peter.
Yep. Although he does ask her out.
Yeah, and he succeeded.
Yep, sadly.
Yeah. And it was very nice of Aunt May in helping him, in getting ready for the homecoming dance.
Yeah. And there is a lead scene somewhere that hasn't been shown yet of them kissing. Liz and Peter. That was in the trailer, but never happened in the movie.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that would have been a bit too early for them to do that because they're just starting to go out.
Mm-hmm.
I guess, yeah. But there is also another option. Another girl that has a vested interest in Peter. And that is Michelle Jones Watson, played by Zendaya.
I wasn't really a big fan of her in this movie.
Really?
I did like some of her lines. I just wasn't a big fan of her character. She grew on me in these next couple of movies, but not in this one.
True, but I mean, it's because she's kind of she chooses to be a social outcast. Yeah. It's not because she chooses to be.
Yeah, and maybe somewhat stalks Peter.
Because she also knows that something's up. See, people are smart in this one.
Mm-hmm. And she helps wins the championship.
Yeah, because she's smart.
Mm-hmm.
Very smart.
When Peter couldn't make it.
She's essentially, the smart, goth chick.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't really care about, the superficial things in high school life. Mm-hmm. All she cares about is doing her schoolwork and just enjoying the things that she enjoys.
Yeah. We're just trolling everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
And she's honest. Dear God, she's honest.
who else is? Then we have Vulcan Woodbine back.
Yes! Welcome back, Bokeem Woodbine. Yeah, he's one of the most important guys working with Adrian Toombs.
Shocker too.
Yes, he plays Herman Schultz, a.k.a. the Shocker.
And
but Shocker number 2.
Although he has more scenes than he did in Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Yeah.
In this one.
You know, he was much more important.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Jackson Bryce, played by Logan Marshall Green, you know, they were kind of a tandem team helping Adrian and selling a lot of this tech for weapons and whatnot. And, yeah. Unfortunately for Jackson, who came up with the whole idea of the Shocker, didn't necessarily have the best end.
No.
Disintegration ray. Oof. And therefore, that makes Herman the Shocker.
Yeah.
Which I actually enjoy that because there were 2 Shockers in the comics. It was Jackson Bryce and then Herman Schultz. Very, very nice. The whole writing team, very nice.
Yep, he plays the second in command. Well, he sort of shares the second in command.
Yeah.
With the tech guy.
Yeah, the Tinkerer.
Yeah.
Which I really do like him. He's very humorous.
Yeah. Yep. And the Tinkerer never really got caught, really.
Very true. He's still out there.
Yep.
Who else could he work for? There's definitely other villains he could
Maybe
work
the new
for.
trilogy.
Yes. Very true. Well, I guess we should probably go into...
Maybe the Cameo.
Well, no, there are still a few other individuals.
Oh yeah, Robert Downey Jr.
Well, yes. Yeah, we shouldn't... Yeah, he's definitely one of the most important. Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, a.k.a. Iron Man.
Yeah.
Still on top of his game, still one of the best parts of the whole MCU.
Yep. And in between that, he was single, and then he gets engaged at the end of the
To Pepper Potts.
Yep. He plays the
He's trying to be the parental figure for
Yep.
Peter in his superhero endeavors.
Yep.
Because he sees a lot of himself in Peter.
especially since he recruited him during Captain America Civil War.
Yeah. And, you know...
Although he failed to tell Peter that he was also doing an investigation on Adrian also.
Yeah. Which I think probably could have helped.
Instead of getting Peter into more trouble.
Yeah. And then him feeling as though Peter needs to give him back the suit to actively figure out that, no, the suit is just an extension of you. You're already good enough. You just need to figure that out.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoy that Tony does that. You know, he wants Peter to be better than what he was.
Yep.
Because, dear God, Tony knows that he's made a lot of mistakes, made a lot of enemies, and did things that he shouldn't have.
Yeah, we have Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Batman in this movie.
That's fun.
And sadly, we didn't get Iron Man versus Adrian Toombs.
Yeah, which is one of the drawbacks. That would have been interesting to see the blue-collar guy confront the billionaire that,
at least one fight,
in a weird way, did him wrong.
Yeah, at least do one fight and then have Spider-Man come in to save the day. That would have been much more interesting there.
True, but at the same time, this is a Spider-Man film, so...
Like I said, Spider-Man also have a way to have Peter to also save the day while having that fight also.
True.
Yeah.
True. And it was nice to see Gwyneth Paltrow for what little part she had.
It's basically a cameo. It is a cameo.
But she's listed a part of the major cast.
It's still a cameo. Ty Daly's listed in the main cast, and she's only there in the opening scene. Never seen again. That's also a cameo.
True. Yeah. Yeah, but she was also listed in the main cast.
Yeah.
Even though, as Anne-Marie Hogue.
Yeah, like I said, a cameo just gets billing credit.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But there also is another individual that helps Peter in his superheroing endeavors, but in a much different way. Jennifer Connolly as the voice of Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah. In this one, Spider-Man actually has, an AI within his suit akin to what Jarvis and Friday were for Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like Karen.
Yeah.
She really cares about Peter, and she's kind of an additional support system for him to confide in.
Yep.
To help him in
His love life.
Yeah, and figuring out his feelings about everything.
Yeah, she's following her husband, Paul Bethany, being the AI.
Weird.
Yep.
Weird. AIs were together.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And of course, there were some other individuals within Midtown High, such as Martin Starr, Mr. Harrington, the teacher that's running the debate team that Peter, Ned, Liz, and
he's basically the comic relief.
Michelle.
Yeah.
Should we call her MJ now, or is?
I prefer MJ.
Yeah, and MJ are all a part of. And plus, we also get to see Angry Rice as Betty Brant.
Mm-hmm. As just the news. She basically does the school news.
Yeah, which definitely fits into what we've seen her in other things. Mm-hmm. It definitely makes sense that she would still be doing the news, and what would potentially lead her into doing the news later on down the line. Mm-hmm. Very clever.
Yep.
But why don't we go more into the good? Because, my God, was the plot fantastic. Yep. It definitely felt a lot like it was in the world of the MCU, but it definitely truly felt like a Spider-Man film.
Yep.
It was fun, it was action-packed, and it made sense.
Yep.
Everyone's acting was fantastic.
The fight scenes were awesome.
Oh, dear God, the fight scenes. Never did I ever think that they could potentially make the Vulture into such an intimidating and downright vicious villain.
Yeah.
I mean, we've usually only seen him as the old bald guy in a freaking bird suit flying around. Oh no. This ain't the Vulture we're dealing with. This is a dark, disturbing, mysterious Vulture that you only see with those bright green eyes in his helmet, and he's using his wings as freaking weapons. Epic.
The special effects were awesome.
Yes, for pretty much everyone and everything that, whether it was everything for Peter.
Yep, him looking at his web slinger, since he also does make his own webs also.
Yeah. And with his upgraded suit, him learning all of the different types of webs.
Yeah.
Webbing that he can do.
Yeah.
He has a whole arsenal.
Yeah.
And plus how they used all the Chitauri tech.
Yeah.
That nice little nod to Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
That freaking robot's eyes were still glowing red. Ultron still exists somewhere. You know, it was all great. It really was. You know, and definitely all the suits were great. The music.
Yeah.
The music was definitely good.
Yeah.
You know, not just the scores, but they actively used popular music. You know, in the film. We got to hear Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones. And, of course, the cameos.
Yep, we have Stan Lee's last Spider-Man cameo. Not his last cameo in general, but it was the last Spider-Man cameo.
I know. And it breaks my heart that this is one of the last ones.
Yeah.
You know. No more Stan Lee cameos.
Yeah.
But Stan Lee was still great.
Yeah, how's your mother?
Hey, you punk, don't make me come down there.
Yeah. Yeah, like we said, Donald Glover.
Is he considered a cameo, or is he more of a...
He only appears like in 2 scenes.
True.
And
But yes, Donald Glover playing Aaron Davis. And if you all have seen Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, you may know who he is. The Prowler.
Yep.
Yeah. The uncle to Miles Morales.
Yep. And
So yes, Miles exists.
Yeah, he even
in
references him in this movie.
Yeah, he talks about that he has a nephew, and he wants to make sure that, you know, the streets are safe for him.
Yep, and while he's also, the last time we see him, he's stuck in 2 hours with the webbing
Yeah.
for it to dissolve.
I mean, he was doing criminal activity. I mean, it wasn't like major, but...
Yeah, my wonder is how is he going to go to the bathroom with for the next 2 hours if he has to.
Better not have ate or drank something so early. Also, it was nice to see Garcelle Beauvais play Doris Toombs, Adrian's wife and Liz's mom. Oh, yeah. We finally now have another cast member from the Jamie Foxx show.
Then we also get a cameo from some ancestor of the son of Dum Dum Dugan's thing from Captain America First Avenger with the principal.
Yes, Principal Morita, played by Kenneth Choi.
Yeah.
Yeah, interestingly enough, he actually is related to the same Morita that was a part of the Howling Commandos. Very interesting, very nice acknowledgement.
I think we pretty much stated the bad. I stated it, my part, with the lack of Tony. With the Tony and Adrian fight.
Yeah. Were Peter and Liz really dating?
Yeah.
Because during the climax, he said that, the dad of my girlfriend is actually the villain. Were you all really dating yet? Were you really?
No.
And of course, Happy being a jerk.
Yep.
Not listening.
Yeah,
Causing much more issues.
Like we already stated. Until he behaves and goes to a bathroom visit with Peter and has the kid look at him weirdly.
Yeah, because why are y'all having this? Why is it an adult in here? 2, why are y'all having a secret meeting in the bathroom? But yeah, Peter saved his butt. Big time.
Yep.
And of course, we could have enjoyed more Aunt May.
Yeah,
Right.
but we'll get more into that in the next sequel.
True. But with you bringing up the fights,
Yeah.
The big climax was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Although I did like.
On the airplane leading up to the beach where, you know,
Yeah.
the cyclone and other things.
Yeah, if they only knocked down one building.
Yeah, there wasn't so much collateral damage this time.
Although I did like the fight scene with his henchmen at the earlier thing when they were all dressed up like the Avengers with the masks. That's the thing. I think that's the quippiest Peter in the whole movie is that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look, the Avengers. Oh, I finally get to meet Hulk and Thor. Wow, you guys really changed. Well, why are you robbing a bank, Iron Man? You're rich.
It was great.
Yeah.
You definitely... Dear God, Tom Holland is the perfect balance of Peter and Spider-Man. He really is.
Yep. But you want to get into the scores? Or,
Why don't you go first?
I'm giving this an 8 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I mainly enjoyed it because of the Robert Downey Jr. and the Michael Keaton. That's why I give it an 8 out of 10. In the suits, in the fight scenes, pretty much, for the most part.
Okay. For me, I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. It is a fantastic film. It's definitely what I wanted in a new version of Spider-Man after, you know, the Andrew Garfield films, which, don't get me wrong, I still like the first Amazing Spider-Man film, but I really did want something a bit different to that. I didn't want a extremely dark Spider-Man. I wanted something to be fun, and this was fun. While it still had heart, and it really put you through the ringer of so many different emotions. Really fantastic film. Not as good as Spider-Man 2, but definitely a step below it.
If you disagree, follow us on Facebook, The Real Screen Team. Follow us on YouTube. Make sure to like, comment, and definitely subscribe and share our videos.
Yes, because we're on the road to 1,000. And once we reach 1,000 subscribers, we could soon start monetizing our videos. We'll make a Patreon, so you could potentially help us in, you know, growing everything that we have in our studio. And as well, we could make some special videos and viewer suggestions.
But before we go, our next video, we're continuing Tom Holland with Spider-Man Far From Home.
Ah, yes. One that was definitely fun and a bit different.
Yep.
Wouldn't you say?
Yep. You want to roll us out?
Well, sure. Well, thank you all for coming. Definitely come back again. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It definitely helps. Thank you all. Let's fade to black.